Hello, welcome to AI in Action. My name is Maurie. I'm here with my husband Jim, and we're going to talk about artificial intelligence, and we're going to talk about how difficult it is to get our microphones to work.
Yes, we are. We have been working on these technology problems
I would love it if someone
2
would just
weeks.
say, hey, we're going to give you the equipment. As long as you talk about our equipment constantly, we'll just give it to you for free.
Well, we got this new Vocaster too, which we thought was going to solve our problems, and we did a first round recording tonight, and it sounded awful.
It was like we were in a tin can.
So I'm assuming we had something hooked up wrong,
Something was
and
wrong.
we both work in technology. You'd think we could figure this out. People that don't do anything with technology do podcasts all day long. They do clothing stuff, and
I have no idea.
I don't know. Maybe we just think about it too
I think we're
much.
too old. Maybe
Is
we're
that
not
the
hip
rule?
and stuff.
Is that? I
Is
don't
that what
think
they
that's
call
it.
it
I
now?
don't,
That's not what they
no,
call it.
that's what I call it.
All right, let's talk for a second about all the stuff that's been going on because we actually skipped a couple of podcasts because we were
Having technology problems, and we had grandkids stuff.
we had stuff going on, and I had a family member. My aunt passed away. I had to go to a funeral.
Jared wrecked his car.
Jared totaled his car. We're still trying to deal with that stuff. I mean,
Life happens.
Life happens.
So before all that happened, we met with Sai.
We cannot pronounce the name, but
she is
a
the
lovely individual.
Communications manager for Google Thailand.
I can't believe I said that. Very sweet girl. I do sound old. She was a very lovely young lady.
Yes, and also an Eisenhower Fellowship winner.
Yes.
And we spent what was supposed to be an hour. We spent probably 2 hours.
Really good conversation about old stuff.
And we were at that hotel lobby.
We were at the Capitol Factory area in Austin, and what started out as just an hour-long conversation in a coffee shop turned into 2 hours, just talking about how, even though the scale at which we face some of the resource constraint issues in rural America is a lot smaller than the scale that she is facing.
Well, we have some infrastructure. Some of the stuff she was talking about, they have the only access they have is their phones. So it's a different infrastructure problem. It is still a resource constraint problem. It's just a different magnitude, like you said. Right. Anyway, it was a great conversation. We have a lot of commonalities that we could hit on, and I even told her I would love for the country of Thailand to hire us, but you didn't seem very enthusiastic about flying to Thailand.
5 or 6 Valium. Maybe I could do it.
And then we went to Texas A&M a couple of weeks back.
It was a lot of fun.
The Mays School of Business.
Yes, and
that is such a beautiful campus.
Very impressed. It was actually a student-led AI event through the business school, and the students who put on the program did an amazing job.
You posted some pictures, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
We actually took some pictures.
Yes.
We had to go back and take them because we forgot to take.
But they did an amazing job. The questions were really great that we were asked afterwards. I could see the gap in learning specifically because artificial intelligence wasn't around
when they were in high school.
They were, freshmen in college.
And even if they would have been in high school, they wouldn't have been taught.
And so what they know about artificial intelligence is based on curiosity, not based on curriculum. They have never been given a curriculum on AI literacy. That needs to change. We have kids that are graduating, that are going into the workforce, and that's a lot of what we talked about was like the workforce, what they're going to be facing in the workforce.
Opportunity versus efficiency AI.
Versus efficiency AI, how to make money, which if we knew that, we would not be.
We work for a school district. We don't want to work. We don't want to make money. We want to educate.
We talked a lot about the technology wave, not the bubble, and how all new technology basically forms a pattern. And so I think it was a really good
It was good.
Event.
It was good. Well, I enjoyed it. And then most recently, TCEA Sysadmin Conference. Yes. You signed us up to speak twice, once for 80 minutes and once for 50 minutes. So similar topics, but different depth.
All right, ready? I'm going to sound like an AI. We did a deep dive.
And we delved into.
We did a deep dive into Agnes. And so that was mainly you. It was 80 minutes. We did a lot of talking about, all the different open source tools that you use and why we do what we do. I was really surprised. I did say, hey, about 60 minutes in, let's take a little break. And I thought we would lose quite a few
I thought we'd
of
lose
the
half.
audience
We
members.
had maybe 60, 50, 60, 80 people. I don't know. It was a lot of
It
people.
was
The room was full.
a lot of good questions. We didn't lose that many audience members at the
No,
bathroom
I
break.
think we lost maybe 10.
And a lot of them actually caught me later and said, "Hey, I wish I could have stayed, but I had another session I needed to go to."
Yeah.
A lot of good questions, as I said. It was fun. I love doing things with the TCEA. They're very organized. The people who run the TCEA,
They're very friendly.
Ms. Freeman, and just everyone who does, they're very, very nice people. We're going to be speaking again a couple of times at the big conference.
Well, the teacher conference, not the
teacher
sysadmin,
conference,
but it's still TCEA.
which
It's
is
in
the end of January, first.
It's in San Antonio because Austin decided to tear down their convention center. So
Yes.
we're going to San Antonio for the next few years if we continue to go to these
Probably.
conferences,
Yeah.
which we
It's a
probably
lot of
will.
fun. A lot of fun.
I enjoy it. So I think what led me to this particular thought process that I've got going on here is when we were talking to everyone about AI, it was very obvious to me that there is a need for AI literacy at a different level that I think at a different level than what I think most people are thinking about AI literacy. Most people are thinking about it as what is AI, or how do I use it, or how do I make a chat bot, or that kind of stuff.
A lot of them are thinking about it also with like, this is how I can use it and not be accused of cheating. This is how I can use it as a tool.
But my biggest concern for the young people is that it will get pushed on people because it's already happening in ways that they don't like. And I think a lot of that has to do with just my number one, I've got 3 core problems I listed in my notes, and indifference is one of them. We allow tech companies to decide what it looks like, how it's going to look. And early on in back, as you said once, when the dinosaurs roamed the earth back in the 80s, a lot of people, when they got into technology, because it was so new, we really wanted to understand it at a deep level. So people dove deep into technology. And even with that level of knowledge, we still got a lot of things put on us that we didn't want in terms of how it acts. Think Windows. But it got worse with all the cloud-based services, because now everyone has been trained to believe that if you want it, you're going to get a cloud service. It's going to be completely curated, and someone's going to manage it for you, and they're going to decide how it works. I mean, think about it. You do website design. Most of what you have done until recently, you've done using templates that was provided, and you've accepted that the templates were what they were, and you just did your best to work around the limitations, but you had very limited number of workarounds that you could do until you used Claude recently to write some HTML code.
HTML code myself.
And suddenly you were able to
open up a whole new world.
But you wouldn't have touched that without AI, without Claude.
No,
because you've been doing website stuff for a long time, but you mainly did templates.
I know enough about HTML code to where I could look at what I wanted to change after it had given me the design and go in and make the little tweaks that I wanted to make.
You have to know enough.
Versus when you're using a template, they draw the box and you work within those constraints, and it's very difficult to change templates.
Which what you just said led to core problem number 2, real literacy versus surface level literacy. And what part of it, the indifference piece means I'm willing to accept what they give me. Real literacy says, as we say all the time, learning happens at friction points, and real literacy requires the friction points, which means you're going to have to deal with the warts, because dealing with them is what actually helps you learn how to do it. Now, of course, English teachers will make the same argument, because they do it to us all the time, that ability, AI is making it worse in terms of critical thinking because you're taking out all the friction points and all that other stuff. And that's a different discussion.
Well, if you're going to teach, though, you have to add back the friction points.
It's just how you add them back that matters. But the real literacy has to be a little bit deeper. We have to decide as a group, as a civilization, as a country, whatever you want to put it, that we're not just going to accept whatever these software as a service companies give us. We're not going to just have a wrapper around these LLMs that somebody else determines what it looks like.
We want to look under the hood.
We want to look under the hood enough to know enough for us to be able to change it, tweak it.
Right.
Which the last thing, your favorite, the last note I made in terms of the 3 core problems, the third one, is the up to your ass and alligators problem.
There's so much going on in the world that people are worried about right now. I mean, there's a lot more happening than technology.
Well, and when you're worried about whether or not you're going to eat or whether or not you're going to pay the rent or versus living in a cardboard box, as Rachel says, you start thinking, okay, do I really have time to dig into this AI stuff when right now I'm worried about where I'm sleeping tonight? And I get that. We have kids at our school district that, sleep in a tent at the park
Yes.
versus kids that live in $1 million homes on the lake. So we have a very wide disparity there. I get that. But again, my biggest concern is if we don't at least teach the literacy at the level we're talking about, that we're going to end up with yet another dumpster fire.
Mm-hmm.
This one may be worse than social media because it can generate, we talked about, cognitive services versus computational services.
Mm-hmm.
And so I worry about that in terms of if we allow these cognitive services to be pushed on us the way they want to push them, then we may end up with something that we can't change and we hate it. And
yes.
So
you were just talking about the disparity.
Mm-hmm.
There is a new chart graph that is out that I wanted to bring up.
Yeah.
Our friend at code.org, Pat, posted this today, and it is used AI to help understand something in school, and it shows in 2024 what the number was of percentage of how many students had used versus in 2025. And 2025 is up quite a bit. But what is not up is based on household income. So
if you factor in household
income, it is directly proportional to the amount of money that is brought into the home versus the use
haves and have-nots. It always is. The
haves and the haves-not. It is directly related. And it's one of those things that one of the reasons that I really get on my soapbox when somebody comes back at me on LinkedIn when I'm making comments about literacy and using it in schools and having a curriculum or having a plan, at least have a plan, not just on how to train your teachers, but how to train your students and how to provide the tools to your students, like Agnes in a Box, which we're going to talk about in just a minute. They come and I have people comment, AI should not be in education. AI should not be in schools. We should not be teaching this in schools. And I'm sitting here going, okay, that can't happen.
Then you're falling into the either indifference phase or the at least denying that there should be real literacy.
It's not fair. It's not fair to the kid who doesn't get access anywhere else that some of the kids are getting access at home because their parents are more educated or technologically educated or just have the ability to pay for the subscription. It's just not right.
Well, and I think that we discussed this, as you said, with the kids at Texas A&M, the students. And I think it's part of the misconception, in my opinion, has to do with this idea of a bubble versus a wave.
Yes.
If you treat this as a bubble, then the implication when a bubble pops, everything's gone. Everything that made up that bubble has disappeared. When it comes to technology, there have been so few actual bubbles. If you define a bubble as something that expands and pops and goes away, most of them, with the exception of the tulip thing back in the 1600s.
That wasn't really technology, but
it wasn't. But it was a bubble, and when it popped, there were tulips. They were sitting in warehouses. They rotted. They went away. There was no particular gain other than learning how to warehouse tulips that came out of that. But every other so-called bubble after that, whether it's railroads in England or whether or not it's even telecom in the late 90s.
That's one of my favorite ones is the telecom thing.
When it went away, it was like a wave. It got really tall and it crested and then it collapsed. A lot of people rode the wave. And then it collapsed. But the water still kept moving forward. All the stuff that was built out, the fiber optics, the servers that were put in place for the dot-com bubbles, all those things got repurposed because the technology was still there. So if you believe that AI can literally be turned off,
you are incorrect.
I think you're incorrect. These companies have put too much money into it, and it's providing the cognitive services that they want to use. The question then becomes is how is it going to get used? And that's where I thought naively, which is what I was making note of, but I thought naively that the best use of this was to make a better human interaction with technology. This is what I thought. I thought this is going to be the thing that's going to make us able to interact with this stuff. I'm of course thinking Star Trek and sci-fi movies. We're going to be able to talk to it. It's going to be a better interaction. That certainly happened.
It has happened.
But there's a whole lot of other stuff that people are legitimately concerned about, and I don't blame them in terms of the other things where it's giving kids dating advice and telling kids how to commit suicide or that kind of crap. I get that.
Okay, hang on. I'm going to back up a little bit.
Okay.
Because I was a counselor before artificial intelligence.
You were?
And there were YouTubers and there were all sorts of bad behavior on social media and on the internet, to where I had a lot of kids that I was having to pull into my counseling room and talk to them about suicide and TikTok trends and
these were little kids too.
Tide Pods. And so yes, artificial intelligence has bad actors. Yes, artificial intelligence can do bad things, but this is a conversation that we should have been having a long time ago, because as soon as social media happened,
and
it's been out of control ever since.
That's why when I was thinking about this stuff after we talked to the folks at Texas A&M and when we went to the TCA conference, what I was thinking about is what does that look like? I'm an engineer. We tell people you're the why and I'm the how.
I'm the educator.
And
you're the engineer.
When I look at it, I'm thinking, okay, if I'm going to get on my soapbox and say AI literacy and we need to do it differently, what does that look like? Well, at the risk of sounding grandiose, what is that called when you grandiose?
Grandiose?
Yeah, when you're tooting your own horn. But this idea that you can create a thing like we did with the Agnes in a box, the AI toolbox kind of thing. The reason that I think that is such a powerful tool for AI literacy is because it allows you to put in place different levels of AI. If you're using a large language model that OpenAI is providing with 1 million token, trillion token kind of things, it's been trained on all this data, you're going to get a better response. They got a lot of money they're throwing at making these things great. But if you put in one that's not so great, but then you have to figure out how to make it work better, which is what we do with tools like we use Llama and we use these small models that we can run locally. When you do that and you start seeing just how bad it can be and start trying to improve it, it gives you a healthy skepticism of AI in general, which I think is one of the most important parts when we talk about friction points. Let's put a friction point back in. Let's make it to where you use this kind of tool to actually show you what it's not capable of and what it is capable of.
A lot of times you figure out things that you can do with something by figuring out the things that you cannot do with something.
Resource constraints do provide innovation.
Necessity
is the mother of invention. So and we're going to talk to our high school principal because we really want to put a
new pilot program.
Yet another one, because I don't have near enough pilots. Me, if I don't have a pilot going, I'm not happy. But I want to teach a healthy skepticism. I want to teach them how to work on their own AI stuff and teach them how to create it. I don't want them to just have some cloud-based service and goes, here, let's make a cool chatbot.
It doesn't need to be curated.
You can make a chatbot in 10 minutes.
Right.
I made one. I made the equivalent of our first Agnes. I made it in 15 minutes using it.
So let's think about that for a second, because I had a makerspace for a long time. And one of the things that we had a 3D printer, and there was a website that they could go to called Thingiverse.
Yes.
And you still can.
Yep.
And they wanted to go to this website and they wanted to just download something
and print something cool.
And just print something cool.
Yes, I remember.
And I was like, okay, this is not learning how to use a 3D printer.
But you let some of them do it, but they could do it like once, but then we go to the next level. It showed them its capabilities. And what I remember you finding that they found when they downloaded it from Thingiverse was it required customization because whoever put it there printed it on a particular 3D printer and it didn't work.
They also went to it a lot of times and they found ideas, and then I made them actually get into the CAD program that we had. And I said, okay, here's your idea. Now I want you to do it on your own. And so I was introducing friction points back into the learning environment. And again, that's what we're going to have to do with artificial intelligence. Agnes in a Box is a great way to have a curriculum, have a class to where you can constrain the students and then have them figure out what AI can and cannot do.
Yeah, and I think that it's a good literacy tool. I think it'll work very well.
Skepticism is going to be
Then
very
again,
important.
why we do pilots? You know, I
Yes.
love pilots. So before we run out of time, are we running out of time before?
Let's see. We're good. We're at 20 minutes.
Okay.
Of course, I don't have my glasses on, so that could be an 8. But I think
Yeah,
it's
it
0.
figures. Before we run out of time, I think I've beaten the point to death about the importance of AI literacy, the way that's different than what I think I'm seeing online. What's next?
Oh, what are we doing?
We got some stuff coming up, or you got some stuff coming up.
We do.
You've got the Austin, the thing with the city of Austin or something?
Yes. Okay. So on the 19th of November, the city of Austin, in conjunction with the Austin AI Alliance and Measure, they're doing a Community in the Loop program, and it's at the ACC campus, the same place we always have our monthly meetings. And I am going to be doing a 20-minute AI crash course.
And I'm going to carry your laptop.
And you're going to carry the laptop.
That's
and
my
look
job.
pretty. You could be my Vanna.
I don't think that's going to work well.
So I sat down today and I was like, okay, 20 minutes.
It's not a lot.
That's not a lot of time. Something we normally spend 2.5 to 3 hours on, I'm going to have to put into 20 minutes. So we're just going to do a quick 20-minute thing. The other things that we have going on is, of course, you mentioned being up to your ass in alligators. I did not title the book that. I titled it Teachers Have Bigger Fish to Fry, where I'm doing 2 book signings.
Which you've never done before.
Which I've never done before. I'm going to have
and
copies
I'm carrying
of the
your
book.
books.
I'll have copies of the book there, and I also have a baker that's going to be doing cookies that have the title of the book and some fish.
Those cookies look really cool when you showed me that. If she can make them look like that picture, that's...
Yeah. Oh, she absolutely can.
Okay, you need to have a little sign there so people can buy more cookies from
She's going to end up... She is a computer scientist.
She is. I didn't know that when I met her.
Yeah, and she'd worked at like some of the big corporations.
She worked at Dell when Rachel met her.
Yeah.
Rachel met Rachel.
Her name is Rachel, and she has this little side gig where she's baking, and I swear she's going to stop being an engineer and start being a full-time baker.
If I lived with her, I'd weigh 300 pounds. Her stuff is so good.
It's funny. She'll come in and she'll go in and help Rachel cook, my daughter Rachel, and so she'll come in to help her do some stuff because of the baby, and she's like, oh, you don't have any buttermilk. Well, hang on, let's make our own. Or, whatever. She's just like, oh, no flour. Let's take some wheat and grind it ourselves. She's just like, oh, it's just that type of baker. But so I'm doing that. It's the 23rd of November. And then again on the 14th of December.
Where is this at again?
It's at the Half Price Books, which is a really great little bookstore that's
right next to
in
the
Cedar Park. The one in Cedar Park at 1431 area, right there.
And there's a movie theater right nearby.
Yes.
And because we've been to that movie theater, and that's a nice half-price bookstore.
It really is.
We were in there not long ago.
So I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be something different.
You know what I miss about those? I miss being able to sit in the kids section with the kids and read the Magic Schoolhouse books. Because if you're adults and you sit there, until our grandkids are old enough, if you're an adult, you're sitting there, you just look weird. So the kids' books are they're cool. Well, Ada's going to be with us that day, right?
Ada's going to be there, and she's getting older.
An hour or so. I don't know if she'll make it all day.
She'll last it.
Well, it's only from 1 to 5. Is it 1 to 5 both days? Because there was one lady that came up afterward. Well, she took a picture of your book signing flyer, and she said she was going to be there. She said she's been to several of our. We had actually quite a few people that said that they've seen us talk several times.
Right.
And
we're the Beasleys.
That's right. That's what they said. As soon as we walked in, that's how we got greeted. That was kind of cool, actually. It's nice to be known.
It's not you. It's the Beasleys.
Yeah, we're a group.
Yeah, we're a group. What else is going on? So
the TCA in San Antonio, already mentioned
that's going to be happening later.
That's in late January.
Of course, we do have the Christmas break. We have the holidays.
I think I'm going to take the whole month of December off. I have like a gazillion days that I can take. I may take off. Yeah, well, it's good. It's been a lot going on lately. You have been driving all over the state of Texas lately.
My gosh. Okay, you drive from here into College Station back, and then I had a relative, unfortunately, that passed away, and my aunt passed away, and so I took my mom and my dad to those services, and that was 6 hours down there, turn around and come 6 hours back.
The next day.
And then I ended up in Austin, and then coming back from Austin, then I had to go to New Braunfels and come back from New Braunfels. I think I put 800 miles on my vehicle in the last 4 days.
And you put 1,000 miles on your body.
It's
You've been a little worn out. The coffee's not even helping.
No, it's not. I still can't put two words together.
I know.
3 cups of coffee and I'm still stuttering.
I know.
Maybe
But
it's the coffee that's making me stutter.
But we're about to have, maybe you're overdoing it, but we're about to have a week off for Thanksgiving too, so that'll help. Oh, no, wait a minute. We're going to have another grandkid.
Yeah, second grandkid's due. Book signing is that week.
Yeah, never mind. And we got to do our podcast because we missed 2 weeks because of technology issues.
And now we're about to say goodbye, and we're going to see
if we got it right this time. Our antique microphones that you were making fun of. Maybe we're going to have to. Maybe that's the problem. I like these microphones.
When you get old, you're just not as good as you
sound staticky when you get old. Okay, got it.
Maurie, I'm here with my husband, Jim. This is AI in Action. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and we hope that you have a marvelous rest of the week.